welcome back to Building Stacklist. If you're new here, this is a show about what it actually looks like to build a startup in real time, not the polished version, the actual version. Today, I have both of our co-founders with me, Kyle and Martina, and we're going to pull back the curtain on something we've been heads down on. It's called ACP, the Atomic Content Protocol. We built it while building Stacklist. We're open sourcing it, and this is the first time we're going to talk about it publicly. So that's what we're going to get into today. Kyle and Martina, let's get into it.
No, I saw your thinking bubbles on top.
My thinking bubbles?
You can just go for it.
I think I'm going to come at it from the user experience perspective. Think about it. We now, as of, mid last year, it was 2 years ago that ChatGPT came out and we all started sort of using it. But I really think like this year is one of those years that more people adopting AI into their daily lives. And one of the things that I find is that as I'm working with Claude, let's say, is I work on a hard problem and then I go, okay, can you just compress that into a final output that I can take and go work on it elsewhere or send it to somebody else? So it writes this markdown file and I say, great. And then I download it and it goes into my downloads folder, which is just a dumpster fire. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, like at the end of the day, I've got 8 or 9 markdown files, which are like the culmination of a bunch of work I've done. And then you go, where do I put these? So I just do a random desktop folder that says stuff I'm working on, And then you've also got like Notion or Obsidian, and a lot of those, the same with bookmarks, was typically here's a place where you can sort of dump stuff, but it takes a lot to sort of like organize it and keep it up to date and all those sort of things. And so, putting it in a Stacklist felt natural as the sort of one place that you can put anything and everything about your life. But there's also no standardization across anything. So how Notion does it, how Obsidian does it, how, any of the tools that you use when you're calling, data back and forth between all of these different systems, they're all kind of speaking a different language. So that was kind of the goal, is to what happens if you standardize it. Yeah.
So I guess the problem isn't really that like we're not saving things, is that we're not saving them in a way where anything else can find those things.
I don't think I don't think it's the same problem that we had that we're trying to solve with Stacklist, which is, I think people just get used to the fact that like their stuff lives in a million different places and they're just used to going, oh yeah, hold on, let me get that for you in my 1,000 tabs on Chrome. And I'll just like dig into, and you don't realize in that moment that you can't just sort of search something at kind of a macro level and recall it. You have to manually go click and drag and find, and all of that sort of like organization and recall actually happens in your head. And I think there's so much mental overhead from doing that like, it should be easy enough that you should just be able to open a sort of global search bar and be like, find that thing I was working on, and it finds it. And so that's the beginnings of what we're trying to solve there.
I was just going to say that I would expand this a bit more from developers' perspective, is that when you think about it, and I think for me it unlocked when we were thinking about, okay, how does Stacklist content appears in any type of LLMs? And that's the first time that I started to think about it on a different level. Then I started to use more of a Claude Code status bar where I actually tracked, okay, how many tokens in and out, usage and everything. And that got me thinking, we are so used to, just spending all of those tokens and usages, and just charge me more. Charge whatever, like I don't care. I don't pay, Stacklist pays, like go overboard,
I pay for Claude on 20x on extra high, extra max.
Extra max.
And then it got me like, that could really be dropped if there is some kind of a uniform language. And I actually loved at one point that I think Kyle made a like mark about it that really stuck with me, was imagine if we were on this podcast and speaking different languages. Like we could understand each other, through, I don't know, various hands gestures and so on, but we would spend a lot of energy. And the same stuff is with agents. If you speak with different languages, they spend a lot of energy, tokens in that case. So that's when my wheels started turning, basically.
I think this makes me want to get into sort of, like the reasoning of...
Sorry, one little piece on there is I will say, like think about, I think we don't realize we get so excited about something like I'm working with Claude and it just figured out how we should talk about Stacklist at a macro level. This is so great. and it says download MD, and I do it. But I don't stop in that moment to go like, am I actually then putting this anywhere where anybody can get to it? And even if I do sort of like hook up to Notion or to Obsidian or how and where I work and my team works, like that is the goal. And one of the things we did that Martina built, an awesome MCP, basically a connector into Stacklist that Claude can read. I can just say now, go put that in my Stacklist. And it just does it. And so now it is in a place that is refindable, searchable, shareable, and so I'm not, again, putting it into my downloads dumpster fire. I'm putting it into a place that now I can go find that. Like Claude can find it, ChatGPT can find it, Stacky, the agent inside Stacklist, can find it. So we're putting it into a place that is, can be searched and organized really easily now.
Yeah. I mean, and I think what I sort of want to get into now is like, so we've been talking about this problem about like knowledge and where to put it and how to find it and have it in one centralized place and all these markdown files, and sort of like Stacklist is the answer to that, right? But ACP is not an app. It's a protocol. It's what Stacklist is built on or of or with. So why so you guys sort of solved it in the Stacklist way, here's this app, but then you thought to yourselves, okay, but that's not enough. We need a standardization. And I want to get into like that of like why ACP and what is our point with it? What do we want people to do?
Yeah. I think from a layperson's perspective, I would say think about, so SMTP is what we use to send email back and forth. It's a simple mail transfer protocol. If Mail and Gmail and Hotmail and Yahoo had all had their own different languages and ways of speaking, it would be so inefficient to try and send mail to each other. But having a simple protocol for email to be able to go back and forth made it that everyone can send email to everyone else. And so like that I think, how I would explain it to my aunt would be that sort of version, which is like, you have to have some sort of way to talk between these systems. And if you don't, then you're just wasting time having each system try and learn each other's language for every simple like call.
Okay, so a bit more maybe technical from my side, but think about it that internet was designed for humans. And the fastest growing users of the internet today are AI agents. And AI agents read the same pages that we do over and over again, but they're wasting a lot of tokens and they're asking, what is this content about? That's the end goal. Like, what is this content? They sometimes need to read a lot of data to figure out if that's actually the answer to the user question, if that's something that you want to serve as answer, and so on. Imagine Wikipedia for content, but on the agent level. So that you enrich once, you store it, and every other time agent 3 reads it, it's like 90% lower token usage because it exactly knows what the content is about. I don't think we will solve internet. I don't think we will do I don't know what. But
I think we solve internet. I think we solve the internet. That's shooting for the moon.
But that itself is pretty, when you see it, actually the output, when you enrich something and when you see the content being reread second time and it actually consumes 200 tokens instead of 20K tokens, then it's like, okay, this makes sense.
So you ran a test recently, right? And I think it was like 84% token savings with following the ACP protocol. Is there any way we can do this live? Like, can we see it?
Oh my God. I didn't prepare for that, but yes, let me.
Kyle, the loading state is loading demo, which usually demos like 99% of the time won't work when you try and do it live, but let's see how it works.
We'll just edit it out.
Kyle, just talk for 10 minutes until I figure something out.
So when I was born,
maybe can we show, while Martina's looking for that, can we show people what like the atomic thing, like all the components?
Yeah. I was also going to say, just a good analogy, like the difference between basically like if you walked into a library and you had never been there before and you had to sort of wander through all the sections to figure out where everything was. If you left, when you came back the next time, like where the history section is, you're going to sort of cut right to it. Every time, if there's no instruction manual, it's kind of like going into it with amnesia every single time and just being like, let me go scan every single section versus having this map right to where you want to go.
What's actually fascinating is that with Claude now you can build pages like this in no time. So there is actually know-how about the protocol and how it works and the problem and everything and how to. So connect to Claude. What I built as well is I would say 0.0 first alpha version of MCP that anybody can use, and it's this URL. And basically, if you put it into Claude or Claude Code or wherever, you can start using it and see how enrichment works and do it for yourself. There's also Playground where people can go and try, put their own Anthropic API key. It's not stored anywhere. It's just locally to the session and try to see how the enriched data comes back. But what you mentioned about token usage, so I'll share my chat. When you load it, you can actually ask what tools are in there, and it will say which tools and what each one does. And then what I basically asked was like, take my Stacklist stack and enrich my 9 cards inside. So it took 9 cards and enriched it, and it said per card breakdown, how many row tokens was used first time and how every sequential time when it rereads the same card. This is the benchmark. It's not 100% correct, this 84%, because you see it's the same on every row because it truncates the body. Maybe this one is higher, this one is lower, but you get the gist, like how many tokens it actually can be reduced if you enrich the data.
So essentially, if everybody started formatting their content with ACP, then everybody would be saving a bunch of money with AI. Is that
essentially? I mean, token usage is definitely something that would drop. Imagine how much faster you would get reply if there is like a open database with bunch of content that AI can just go through and say, hey, confidence of this content is 95%, and here it is in a second.
Very cool.
Having that it's like having, lots of little treasure maps saying exactly what something is. And if you just need to read, what is this about? This is about books. This is about like favorites. This is about restaurants, whatever. If you can just read little bits of the headers of things, you don't have to read the full content. Like you don't have to read the full magazine article. You can get the TLDR on everything, which then means it's not only less expensive, but it's also faster to just sort of really quickly scan the headers of everything, go, okay, I found what I needed. And if you standardize that also, then you have every system that comes in knows exactly what headers to scan and what they're going to get, which is just going to be faster, quicker lookups, and less tokens.
And so Stacklist is basically like the first app built on ACP, right? So I'm wondering, like, what does that actually look like for a real estate agent, or like honestly, like just for me trying to organize my stuff? Like, can we?
I think at a macro level, like imagine if you basically, the goal is I want to search for restaurants, or I want to search for clothes, or I want to search for new AI apps to use between you and me and Martina and our team or whatever. As I start to search that on Stacklist, now I'm not, the system doesn't have to go into everybody's profile and try and read everything. We can really hit only the relevant parts, which then sort of pulls it back to me better, and that sort of enriches the whole platform. So really what we're trying to do is make this quicker, better, faster, bigger, faster, stronger, and so imagine that at a network scale. I think that's the sort of thing that, like, it's almost also prepping us for being Facebook, Instagram size, and thinking about that early versus trying to act through that now and then having to go think about it later. Is just doing it early helps us with scale.
Think about, so we all know how basically everybody heard about AI indexing, how AI crawls through your page, how you need to have JSON LD, how you need to have schemas and so on. That's all built for crawlers, for Claude crawlers, for ChatGPT crawlers, but it's not built for agents. I mean, we are not replacing anything. We are just adding one layer of enrichment of data that is specific for the agents. So imagine having also the JSON LD schema and everything around crawlability, and then plus the portion of the agent that it can be easily found. And imagine how search will work. Search will work like it will be blown out of proportions when you search for real estate agents that have, I don't know, local expertise in Atlanta. that's how we think about it.
Think about how inefficient it is right now when I connect up services. Like I have, this personal operating system agent, Virgil, that I built just for me, just because I end up drowning in when I sit down in the morning. I've got my coffee and I'm like, okay, really quick, let me just go check Todoist and Slack and email and calendar, my granola notes from yesterday, my Lightfield CRM for opportunities. Like, let me go scan all this stuff. So this agent essentially connects to all that stuff, but that agent has to go, every single thing is all built in different ways. And so it's trying to figure out piecing that stuff together. If you imagine that when it connected up to Notion, if Notion was built in such a way that it could just hit the headers of everything and sort of had a map of what to do, it would be faster and less tokens for me, less tokens for Notion. And you have that standardization, that all would happen, more efficiently and inexpensively versus, that agent trying to basically learn 12 different languages when it's coming to do these calls for me. Martina, I have that those two EMW slides. If you want to show those, just the high level, sort of the card versus what AI sees.
Well, Martina's looking. Kyle, do you know that I once offered to send Martina a pizza on Twitter before we met?
Did you send it?
She declined.
You should send her a pizza with pineapple on it.
She was like, I can get my own pizza.
What? That doesn't sound like me. I said, you will buy me pizza in San Francisco. I hear it's so cheap there, so we can do it there. Okay, here it is. This is the card that is a single piece of content, and it has like the ID when it's created, if it's parent or something, can agent read it? Is it public? How many tokens consumption, and the confidence layer. That's like the basic structure of enrichment, which I added more data to it, to be honest. But unstructured would be, this is the idea of the card, I don't know, notes and whatever is in there. But having the enrichment, and this is where also Stacklist MCP comes really handy, because if you use our MCP or Stacky or whatever, we have all of those enrichments built in. So whenever you save something from either Claude session or URL through Stacky or whatever, it automatically gets enriched and automatically picks up all of the data. So our structure of stacks and cards is, of course, normal ID, notes, and author and everything around it, but also JSON LD baked in, this ACP baked in. So we are really what we like to call it LLM delicious. So this is the structured card.
That's good stack list.
And this is the structured stack. So stack is like the container over card. And it has the same enrichment, but it also consumes like, okay, how many children are inside? What is the structure? What is the relationship? What's the confidence of this actually answer somebody's question? This is the structured data.
So basically a stackless card is like basically already formatted the way ICE systems want to cite things without you or me or anybody having to do anything extra.
Yes, AI and agents.
AI and agents, of course. This is so cool.
Yeah. So this is like, I think what I love about this is, one, thinking ahead and really getting to a place, identifying, we ran a big research on this, and it really seemed like a big white space that, people are still so enthralled by building. We built an MCP, which is like step one, but really thinking at a macro level when you get to a place where you have these agents that are sort of, helping you run your life, but they're interacting with, is my agent going to interact with all 100 logins that I use throughout the week? You know what I mean? And they're all talking, different languages. That's where, starting to hopefully lead the way and think about this early is going to, hopefully will help not only for stackless adoption, but hopefully this solves a problem that other people are going to be thinking about and trying to solve here soon.
And if ACP like really succeeds, like what does the world look like?
Same.
But with hats and t-shirts and like it says I only ACP and like there's all sorts of branding and no, I mean really open source, it's giving back, right? It's really giving back to the community and I would imagine, Martina, that you at some point you would have contributors and managers on the open source project, and people are taking it even further than we've thought about it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole goal with open source. But I imagine it if people actually start to use it, I mean, I would be over the moon because that's like, for me personally, that would be a huge success. But it would be like Wikipedia, you don't think about it, you just use it. You have the open source library database of content that the agents can crawl and read. And I think essentially it would be much faster and much streamlined process, especially for developers, to be honest. But yeah, I think nothing dramatically in the world, but what is the saying? A small movement for the world, but big for me. So think about it like that.
And where can people actually go and start trying this? How do they do that today? AtomicContentProtocol.org. We'll put that large in the video.
We should make a quick stack on this and maybe link to the app and then also maybe link to the NPM package to install it. And then it'd be cool just to, we could also just do a quick markdown file in that package to put in as a Stacklist markdown card with either how to get started or maybe there's a quick like scaffold for Claude or something like that we could throw in there as well.
Cool. And then I just have maybe like a last question, last thoughts, one thing from each of you that you want people to walk away knowing. Whoever wants to take it away, go first.
Don't offer Martina pizzas because
she won't take them.
Yeah, I just want people to really know that, I think it's important for everyone to take away.
Perfect.
I think for me, it's like, I just love this moment that we're in. And I think it's important for everyone, whether or not you're dug into any of this, you understand any of it, or you're in it, or you're not. Like everyone's going to kind of need to be in that place where you're going to be interacting with these tools, at some point. Like this is going to be as using Claude or Claude Code in this kind of way. It's going to be like learning Office at some point. You know what I mean? Like you can't be like, I don't know Word and I don't know Excel, and so it doesn't mean that you have to implement this stuff right now. It doesn't mean you have to, you have to be a master at it, but you should be around it and explore and be curious because this stuff's changing so much and this is how the world's going to run soon. So, and also reach out to Martina and I if you've got questions, and we love collaborating and helping and pointing in the right direction.
Yeah, I would also say reach out if you think this is all bullshit. And
just keep your opinions to yourself. We don't want to hear it.
If it can be actually better in some other way, that's also legit. Like I would like to hear all opinions. All opinions matter. So that's why you open source it, because you can take it and do, explore and see how it behaves. And maybe somebody somewhere has like $1 billion idea that will unlock him. So amazing. I don't know. I built this and I'm really excited and I can see the potential and I can really see how it benefits everyone basically. And I'm really hyped about it. But at the same time, I need to ground myself in a way like it's out there. If people use it, fine. If not, also fine. We'll use it and Stacklist will be built on this. So there will be signs that it actually can improve all the agentic stuff and reaching and reading and so on. So that's enough for me.
The open source is great. Just please don't rename it Atomic Content Pizza. That's just not what we're not like. We don't want to get that far into it. Like try and keep the spirit of the protocol, please.
Thank you so much, guys. This was really fun. I am going to stop recording now.
All right, we're out.